Welcome back. I am Chan, the tech man. I got a tech news story for you. Um, and it doesn't come as a surprise to me because I already told you this was going to happen in a previous video if you've been watching my videos. So, this is I told you so video. I knew this was going to happen. It's obvious that it would. I even did a talking about how ARM and PowerPC chips are kind of the same chip. They are the same architecture, a RISC. So basically, so that would mean Apple has never stopped making PowerPC chips because they had them in their iPhones and iPads and Apple the TVs for a very long time, and they did have started putting them in their notebooks for limited things and I knew this was going to happen, and they announced today officially that it will happen. As benefits of using ARM is a lower power consumption. Apple's promising that it won't be sacrificing performance. This makes process. It's going to make processors especially designed for Mac just like it done with the A series processors for iPhone, S series processors for watch, and AX processors for iPad. And talks about it. Performance uh, higher the better. Okay, lower the better. Power consumption. Desktops can obviously use more power, and they can get hotter. Um, I think it's pretty close in desktops, believe it or not, because all the platforms that ARM's in now doesn't on your phones. It doesn't have any cooling. It don't have any fan on it. On the iPads, it doesn't have a fan. So it's pretty close now to because you might say, well, why do I say that? Well, the desktop, especially the big desktops, you can have the water cooling or at least a big fan to cool it, so you can really overclock it tons. And Apple's already in 7 nanometer, so they can put a ton of cores in that thing and overclock it. You can put some water cooling on that. You can overclock it probably pretty easily to 4 gigahertz, and you can put a ton of cores in that. Um, and I guarantee you that because the Mac OS was on PowerPC first, and they was working at the same time. Steve Jobs said, uh, making it for Intel also. Well, I guarantee you that's still in there for PowerPC. Obviously, it is because of the iPhone and iPad, the iOS, and now iPad OS uh, is. They said they might go back to iPhone OS. I don't know. We'll see how the name changes. But it's why I mention that is it's uh, Mac OS 10 based. So, and it works on ARM. So it's obvious that they never stopped developing Mac OS 10 for RISC processors. So I think it'd be pretty easy move for Apple. And Apple has done this right, where Microsoft didn't really do it good. They said unable to deliver Windows on ARM. Um, they really didn't do it good. They should have done it like Apple, kind of slowly, and Apple they planned on this. Where Microsoft, where they did was you couldn't run 64-bit apps on the ARM-based Windows. You can only run 32-bit. Well, if you know anything about Mac OS, at least the latest one, you couldn't run 32-bit apps. They all had to be 64-bit. That was, I know, in preparation for the changing over to ARM. Well, you might say, why I say that? Well, Mac is going to a different approach. Instead of running 32-bit on what Microsoft did, they're going to run 64-bit. Be able to run 64-bit apps plus the ARM designed apps. I don't know. They might have the ARM uh, being able to just run all of the ARM. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they at least will be able to run the 64-bit apps as a transition time, then maybe transition over all of it to ARM. I don't know. Or maybe always have run, probably eventually will shut off the 64. I don't know how that's going to be. I know the ARM platform uh, is 64-bit uses. Um, the iPhone 64-bit, iPad 64-bit, um, the software 64-bit. So there you go. I knew that. So there's a lot of proof that Apple was going to do this, and they did it wisely. Where Microsoft said only run 32-bit, they should have went to running 64-bit. Um, I think maybe they rushed it too far, too quick. I mean, they should have done it. I don't know. I just don't think Microsoft did it right. Obviously, um, they will still be doing it, um, but I think Apple will really push this forward, really drive this to the park where it'll end up helping Microsoft in this regard. Um, Apple, the iPhone, the iPad really does video coding really well. So ARM can do that really well, and I knew this was going to happen. Um, as Apple, they want to do all of it themselves, like at least the processor design has been, and maybe not the very very earliest. They use some, but they still help in all of that. They want to do everything themselves. Uh, and especially when they went to the Power PC, they designed that. It was I already did a video on that. It was a firm, but they helped design it. Apple did, and so they designed these ARM chips, and they can do it pretty good. I mean, they've been doing it good for a while, and they know what they're doing, and this is not coming out of left field for them. They've already been here for a while, and even on the computers, they've been there for quite a while. They've been doing Power PC, so they've been doing a RISC for a while. So I think Apple's really done this, and I don't think it will hurt them. It will, or if anything, help them. I believe, at least in the long term. And so right now, that's a good decision for them. I'm not against Intel at all, uh, or AMD, and I like Intel. But for Apple, I think this is a wise choice, and they might still offer Intel things. I don't know. Um, I think for them, this is what for the notebooks, it's a pretty good choice. For people, mostly people, not all, but there's a lot of people that want a notebook for just pure, complete portability. And they not going to play games. They want it for a huge battery life and stuff. So that would be ideal but they want it in a notebook form, not an iPad form. And this would be ideal for them. An iPad is still isn't the best for writing. It's still limited functions in writing. It has Word and all of that, and the Apple's word processing app and other stuff. But it's still, if you pull up Word and on a Mac. I don't have a Mac, but you can pull up their word processing. It's got a lot more stuff you can do with it, and you can add add-ons and stuff to that. Like if you want to, if you're writing a book on Word, you can add a add-on template to adjust your book so it's ready for publishing. Stuff like that, where you can't the Word on the iPad apps, it doesn't have it. You can't use that for that. It will tell you if you try to open that after it's already been formatted for a book, it would change the formatting back. It doesn't have it's not completely there. It's really good for iPad is, but it can't be used for everything. And that's where notebook and desktops come in. So there's a lot of people would want that arm and for the notebooks and desktops. And on Apple, they're not big on gaming. It's a Windows. So people who can game on Apple, obviously, but I mean, they've never pushed for about gaming. It's for they push for other things. So I think for them, what they do, it will work great. I don't think Windows will ever, uh, at least not right now. Obviously, can do this route completely. Obviously, they have to do Intel and AMD and all, but ARM does have a good niche for Microsoft too. I just think maybe they did it a little bit wrong, but that's neither here nor there. They already did it. Um, see, it's already had some third-party apps will work on day one. Even Final Cut Pro. In fact, it already has a bunch of third-party. I mean, first-party apps will work from day one. Excuse me. Already has Final Cut Pro. It has third-party apps, Microsoft Office, and a bunch of Adobe apps. Uh, Adobe hasn't done that, I don't think, for ARM yet on Microsoft's end. So, you know, uh, Apple will be ahead on that. Um, so it seems like they're doing this right. Apple even showed off full Photoshop running natively. Fast performance translated at uh, install time. Oh, translated at install time. Dynamic translation for JITs. In other words, it won't be like emulated. It'll be translated over to ARM at install. Hmm. Uh, so cannot count on all apps being updated on day one, but if you buy a Mac, you're expecting to be able to use everything that you used to. Okay. Rosetta 2 comes in. So they developed that. It means you're translating all your apps so they just work. Okay, so it's going to have stuff it's going to translate it to. Just said it even runs faster than it was in the days of transitioning from PowerPC to Intel back in 2005. It translates your app upon installation. Oh, so you might not have to do that from other the software. Just say LibreOffice might not have to encode it for that. That this software would encode it for it, or maybe I don't know if that's what they're saying. Another big function is a dynamic translation for JIT, such as web browsers. For Windows on ARM, this was a pain point because this is code that's harder to cache. It will be interesting to see how well Apple pulls it off. Um, but according to Apple, the vast majority of apps will only take a few days to work to get running natively. In some cases, it will just take recompiling them in Xcode. Hmm. And it has a developer kit for people to get, and it will start shipping in a few weeks. The company said Macs with ARM processors will arrive before the end of the year, and the full transition will take 2 years. However, it still has some Intel-based Macs in the pipe. That's what I thought. That's what I said. I figured it's going to still have some Intel-based Macs still out there and in the pipeline. So it seems like they're doing a really good job there on this, and I think they're way ahead of Microsoft on that. Even though they started late, they'll end up being way ahead. Um, well, it kind of didn't start late, to be honest with you. If you think about it, though, I guess I misspoke on that. Maybe they really didn't start late because they did it on Power PCs. So they are way far ahead. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Chan, the Tech Man. I just wanted to make this news story available to you. Uh, you can go to chansmith.me for my website at chansmith.me. For my website is chansmith.me. And the link will be in the description of this video. You go there for my YouTube channel link. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate it. Share it on your social networking. Like this video, my other videos. Share them on your social networking. Share my website as well. If you want to donate, I don't get any money for making these videos. So if you want to donate to help me be able to upgrade software and stuff, I appreciate it. The link will be on the description. Will be on the website. So go to my website if you want to donate. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in.